everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and we have been working our way through Christmas in July, and now we're into August. And I wanted to fit just one more project in, even though we're no longer in Christmas in July. I wanted to fit one more project in for my friends that are in the warmer climates. And those of you who don't get snow in the winter time, maybe you live in the desert, maybe you live somewhere tropical, I wanted to do a project for you. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to do this little project here. I've sort of made it a tropical theme. I've got the ocean in the background, but you could easily make this more southwest just with maybe a cactus. So let me show you what we're going to use here. We're actually using this little structure here. So this is the garden shed set, and you can use any of these little structures here. Any of them will work. And then we are using the palm trees because we are doing more of a tropical theme. So we're going to use the large one here, and then this little palm branch, and this one here, so the left and the right. But if you live in the desert and you want to change this more to a desert theme, use the cactus. That would be so cute to do that. And then obviously leave the ocean off in the background, but you could do a really neat mountain scene in the background. Just super easy. Then one more thing, we're going to use this little flower here that's from the mini flower set, and we're going to use it as a little foliage. And that's all we need. We don't need a lot to do this project. It's very, very simple. And I'm going to show you how to do these little lights on here and make this cute little Christmas scene. Cute little tropical. Here's another idea. I just did this one really quickly. You could also do this with the cactus and just string a little row of lights across the two of them. Just super fast, you know, when you want to do something really simple, but you want to make it special. You could do something like that. So let's get going on this. I'm going to use this this little structure. We're gonna ink it in two colors, and those of you who have watched me at all know what those two colors are. So it's the 969 dark brown and the 565 dark blue. And because this is a wooden structure, we're gonna do the blue first and then the brown. Now in the original, I have changed it out a little bit and put a little tree into the window. So we don't want that grid in the window. Let me show you what the original looks like. You can see it's got this detail in the window, and you can see these little window panes in here. So we want to just ink the outside of the window, not these window panes. And then we're going to put that little tree inside. So when we go to ink this, we're going to ink it in two colors. So we're going to start out with the blue, the dark blue, and just kind of work our way over. You can get all the other details in, but we're just going to do the outside frame of the window. And if you don't get it perfectly, you know what, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. By the time, you know, we finish everything and add the water, the colors, you know, a lot of them are blended together, and it just does not matter. So I'm going back over it with the dark brown. And then over on this section, we're going to hit this. And then, you know, this little cabin, it's going to be washed out because it's in the sun. So we want this to be very light, and that means we're going to stamp it off. So I'm just going to take a piece of scrap watercolor paper and just stamp that off so that I don't have it. I got something on that already. So now I'm going to stamp it kind of in the center of my page. And just ink it really, really lightly like that. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we're going to add our Molotow to it. So this is our mask pen. And we're just going to put some little circles in here just to protect our areas where we want to put the little ornaments on the tree. And you can make these, you know, a little bigger than you would, you know, snowflakes. And let's just put a big tree in this window. And while that's drying, now we can continue on with our little shed. So I'm going to dip my brush in water and pinch it off, and I'm just going to now pull the color out of the lines. And I always start where I think it's the darkest, and that would be under the eaves. So underneath here, we're going to get lots and lots of color. And then under here where these little this little siding, you know, panels are, cedar, looks like little cedar shakes on here. And remember, you're coming underneath the line, so you're not coloring on top of it, so that you're pulling that color out of the lines, and that's bringing that image forward. If you color on top of the lines, you're just going to end up with a big, wide outline, and that is not what we're going for here. I want to come underneath and next to the lines and kind of let that color bleed out, and that will pop these little elements up. And then I'm just going to lightly go around these little cedar shakes here too. And then inside that little window. And we're not going to do much to the roof right now because we're going to add those lights onto it. So let's go ahead and add our palm tree into the side. And we're going to ink that with the dark brown. And we're just going to stamp it, and you can stamp it as far away from here as you want to. I'm just going to lean it over a little bit, just so that we have a little more space to hang our lights. And then let's go ahead and put our little palm branches on here. And I'm going to start with the ones onto the left side. And I'm using, this is number 177, by the way. It's kind of a warm green. And if you stamp off the page, that's okay. And then let's go on to the one to the right. This one kind of comes down a little bit. And let's just put one more down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some water now to that. And remember, when you're doing these little palm branches, leave that spine in the center, leave that open. So try not to color that little central area. It's just going to make it look a little more realistic. And then I'm going to come down along the little tree trunk and just kind of follow these little lines as we go down. We can always come back and add more color to this. So we're just kind of in the starting stages. Okay, so let's add some color now to our little structure. I'm going to put some blue on here. So this is number 528. And I'm just going to mix some, dip my brush in water, so I'm going to take this very light, make this very light. And keep it in each section. Each section. So you don't want to run your brush and run the color, you know, across these lines. You want to stay in each little section. This is the fun part, adding the color. I always love this part. I just think it changes the image so much when you do this. And it, you know, it makes it look more realistic too. And the brown in here, you know, it makes it look like a thing. And that's why we use that brown, because we don't want this to look like a stamped image. We want it to look like a watercolor, an actual watercolor. Okay, so I'm going to take a warm brown now. This is number 947. And I'm going to add some color now to the sides and the front. Just brush on a little bit of this color. Keep this little edge here on the bottom. Try to keep a little highlight on that. It's going to make it look like it's turned up a little bit. You know, remember, every time we color things in, we try to leave a little white space just to make it look a little more three-dimensional. And when you leave that little white edge, it kind of looks like that the light is catching there, and it's kind of, it's raising up. It's such a little thing, but you know, all these little tricks kind of add up. And if you can remember to do that, you're going to be so much happier with how your little projects turn out. And I'm going to take some of this now and just Put it into underneath the eaves, and a little bit of the dark blue. And this is the 565. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and just put a shadow underneath here. This would be pretty dark under here. And let's just put a little shadow under there too. And I'm going to add a little green now to this blue. This is 177. And just going to mix a little of this green into the blue. This is a really fun thing to do. And if you've never tried mixing colors, it's really fun because you don't need 100 markers. You know, you just need a few. Okay, so we're gonna add our little wreath to the door. And I'm going to ink this in the green, and I've placed it way up in the corner so that I can see exactly where this is going to go. And you know, the other thing that I do is I start in the middle. So when I have something tiny like this and I want to kind of place it center it, I usually start in the middle, not on the edge, because it's, you know, you kind of get an idea of where it's going to stamp when you start in the middle. So there we go. And we're just going to work our way around in a circle. Just like this. And you know, we've got the little door handle in the way, but it really doesn't matter that that's in there. And I'm just gonna keep turning and working my way around, just like that. And hit it with my brush. And then we can add some little berries to it later. Okay, so let's go on now and let's do our little lights. So I'm going to use a pencil, and I'm just going to draw the line here. So I'm going to, you know, maybe start it here. Actually, let's find one that's a little sharper point. And I'm going to bring it from here, this corner, to maybe here, and just bring it down like this. Okay, and then the lights are going to come up and over the little structure and end up right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that green, so this is the 177, and we're just going to make a bunch of little green rectangles. Just tiny little green, some up, some down, you know, some kind of to the side, some next to each other. These don't have to be perfect at all. And then we're just going to kind of work our way up and do a few more up here. You can put in as many of these as you want to. And they're going to all kind of be facing up when they're on the roof, because we don't want to come down into this colored section. If you try to put a light down in here where we've got the blue and the brown, it's just going to get lost. So we want to kind of put all these lights kind of facing up. But you can turn them a little bit like this, and then hang one off the side, just like that. Just nothing to it. And then we're going to come in now with some color. So, you know, what I do is I try to figure out, okay, now what colors do I want to use? You know, I think this is what I've used before. So, and then I think about the order. So I'll probably go purple, red, yellow, blue. So then I can go through and do purple every fourth one. So I can start with purple. And I'm just going to make a little line here and then like a triangle. So purple, and then my other three colors, and now I can do another one. So a line, and then like a little triangle. And then 1, 2, 3, and then a line and a triangle. And these don't have to be perfect either. 1, 2, 3, a line, and then a triangle. It's really fun to do these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got purple in. So let's go on to the red. Same idea, a line. And then the red is going to be next to the purple. And you could, you know, maybe you want to go in here and just do yellow lights. That's perfectly fine too. Or make them all red. So just a little line. I think this is the easiest way to do it, and then a triangle. And let's do the yellow. And then one more. And the blue. So again, a little straight line and then a triangle. And if it helps to turn your page, do that. Okay, there we go. We've got our little lights in. So cute. And now we can take our brush. And actually, I'm going to use my tiny little brush. So my number 1. And that is this little guy. Get it wet. And then just go over these just a little bit. Just kind of blend them out a bit. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of this color and just make a little halo around. And again, do each color first. So just a little halo. So I'm going through and just doing all the purple. So just touch it and then make a little light halo around it. And just very small. Same with the yellow. Just a little halo. Clean your brush off. And let's go to the blue. And here. And then the red. Okay, and we really don't have to do much with the roof here. You know, I mean, you could do a tiny little bit, pull a little bit of color out of there, but we really want that to be light, like it's just really illuminated from these lights, and we don't want to draw attention to it. So this is the area that we really want to make the focal point, is our little row of lights. Now I'm going to take my red, and I'm just going to make a few little berries in here to our little wreath. Cute. And now I'm going to finish up this little tree here. So I'm going to use the same little foliage, same color, and just stamp in my little tree. Turn my page. Dip my brush. And just kind of soften this all. And we can let that dry a little bit before we take that mask off. So let's go ahead and put in our horizon line here. So I'm just going to take some of this light brown and just brush this in. Now, if you're not sure where to put this, use a pencil. Just use a pencil and just color it in with a pencil. It really it kind of takes some of the stress away when you kind of have a plan as to what you're doing. So if you're just not sure, you know, brushing anything in freehand, you know, do that. Just take a pencil and just kind of pencil it in. So I'm just putting a little darker path in here. This is the dark brown that we used before. And then I'm just gonna brush in a little bit of this light color. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot here. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of this dark color in here. This also will make it look like these little cedar shakes are coming out. And I think I'll take some of this blue and add some blue to the trim. And you can, you know, I'm using blue, but you can use, you know, whatever color you want to use. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these little palm branches and just put a little detail in next to the little house here. And if you get a little over, you know, stamped area, just blend it out. No big deal. Okay, so let's put in the water. And I'm just going to use this light blue again and just put my water line in. Start with that. And it's just the, you know, you're just doing the idea of the water, so don't let it get out of control and just kind of take over your page. Just make it very light and just the idea of it. And let's put some sky in. We can use that same blue, or you can mix. You know, try that too. So you can take a little of this blue and a little of this blue and just kind of mix it together and get a really pretty blue. And you're just kind of pushing it, you know, pushing it around. Again, it's the idea of things. Let's just put a little shadow on here. And a little bit here. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit here and just a, you know, just a little shadow that comes down. And we can do that on this little house too. Let's put a little shadow in. And then if you want to, you can take the fine tip of that, that brown and just put it in a few little dots, some sand. You can put in some more foliage in here too if you want to. Just, you know, totally up to you. So now let's take off our masking fluid. And you can see we've got our little places for our ornaments, and I think I'm just going to do those red. So here's my red. This is number 885. And I'm going to use my tiny little brush, so my number 1, and just brush this in. It really, you know, it makes a difference to leave those white spaces. So, you know, to use a Molotow like that, it really does, because you're not coloring over the top of all this color. You're leaving a space for that, and then it's so much easier. Now you could use a mix of colors in here too. Okay, we are just about finished. Now you can try this with the cactus. I think that would be so cute to try that. Those of you who have cactus, you know, in your area. I think that would be really, really cute to do. And I'm just going to add a little darker color up in here. Anytime that you can go dark to light, you're going to add more dimension. So anytime that you can see where you can really make things dark, you know, by showing a shadow, it's going to make a difference. Putting a little shadow in here too. Okay, I think we were about finished. Some glitter would be so cute on here as well. You could now, if you wanted to, you could come in with a, this is a white, it's a Signo Uniball. So it's a white pigment pen, and you could just add a little white highlight on here as well. And add a little bit in here too. if you guys can see that really well, but let me hold it up for you so you can see it a little bit better. And we are finished with this, so I guess one thing left to do, and that is to sign and date, because that is what we always do, is to sign and date. Because every time you make one of these, they're going to be different. There you go. Our little tropical project. Try this one. I think you'll really enjoy doing it. It's super fun, and try the cactus too. Also really fun. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. I sure enjoyed making it for you, and I appreciate you joining me every Wednesday. And I will be back next Wednesday on Facebook Live. So I'll be doing a Facebook Live video. And for those of you who are doing the challenge project, I will be announcing the winner on that for that challenge project. And wow, have I seen the best work. You guys are amazing. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week on Facebook Live.